Hello everyone, this is Sukruti Joshi from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology, Ahmedabad. I am going to take the video lecture series on chemistry. The subject code for chemistry is 311001. In our previous session of this particular subject, we have started our chapter number 3, which is metals, alloys and corrosion. In this particular chapter, we have studied that what is the metal actually and how and what are the physical properties of the metals. Like we have seen that what is the particular property which is known as lusterness, what is malleability, what is ductility, etc. Along with it, we have seen their actual applications or examples. Now, afterwards, we have seen what are the alloys. We have seen that alloys are actually the mixture of two or more metals together. Here we have to understand that when two or more metals mix together in their molten form, at that time they converted themselves in the alloy. They can be divided into two main parts. Number 1, ferrous alloys. Number 2, non-ferrous alloys. So we have seen that ferrous alloys is a type of alloy which contains ferrous in a very high amount. Along with ferrous, we have observed that it can have other metals and other non-metals also. So here, let's move ahead with the another alloy which is most widely used in our day-to-day life, which is stainless steel, which is also known as corrosion resistant steel. This steel do not get corroded when exposed to atmosphere or when exposed to chemicals. Their composition mainly contains chromium, nickel and molybdenum. They mainly contains 3 different metals: chromium, nickel and molybdenum. Here, chromium used to impart the corrosion resistance to steel that forms its oxide film on the surface. Then, the property of this formed oxide film is that it gets healed by itself if it is broken. There are 2 types of corrosion resistant steels based on the percentage of carbon and chromium present in them. In the image you can see the ball bearings, the bigger bearings which generally used in wind farms or wind chains. Okay? They are widely used in making aeroplanes also. Let's move ahead to the next one, which is non-ferrous alloys. Ferrous alloys are widely used in various industrial works because of their various properties. But there are certain limitations, and because of it, we can't use them in each and every kind of industry. We can't utilize them in everyday routine day-to-day life. They can be, the first one is, they are relatively heavier in weight because itself iron is a heavier in weight. The next is they possess low electrical conductivity. They have a very low value of conductance. Next one, if you move ahead, we have, they show low corrosion resistance in some environment. As I said, it gets corroded very easily because of atmosphere, because of chemical action, because iron is present in very high amount. Now, next is, thus for some purpose it is necessary to make use of alloys which do not contain iron, and such kind of alloys which do not contain iron is known as non-ferrous alloys. Since these alloys do not involve iron as a major component, so generally they have the metals like copper, like lead, like aluminium, etc. They are added into it. They are mixtures of it. As you can see in the image, we have, or I have shown you, a German silver coated set or dinner set here. It gives a very good impact also, and it gives a very good properties also. Now, let's take a look at the alloys which are commonly used. First one is the alloy of aluminium. Such kind of alloys contain a very higher percentage with other metals like copper, manganese, magnesium, etc. Two of it alloys that are widely used are duralumin and magnalumin. Two different alloys are there. Number one, duralumin. Number two, magnalumin. Their composition, their uses, we will see in our next picture. They are widely used. As you can see in the image, it's basically made up of duralumin, right? The peacock which is made up of duralumin. So we can use them to manufacture sculptures. We can use them to make our day-to-day life like light lamps, or generally the street lights, the common one which are chairs, etc. Furniture nowadays is manufactured of aluminum alloys. So it is very common when we talk about the alloys of aluminum. Now, let's take a look at the composition, that uses and properties of this kind of alloys. Here, the first one which I have shown you is duralumin. So duralumin is a lightweight, tough, highly ductile, easily constable, good conductor of heat, electricity, and they have a very good corrosion resistance. They can be used in extensively aircraft industries in the form of clad. Generally, they are used to manufacture lightweight aircraft. This is its property. Next is magnalumin. Magnalumin basically contains two things. Number one, aluminium. Number two, magnesium. Their percentage can be varied. Okay. They are very strong, tough, and lighter than aluminium. It possesses mechanical properties similar to brass. It is widely used for making scientific instruments. It is widely used in manufacturing different kinds of scientific instruments, because we have to give a particular shape to the instrument. It can be nano-sized. It can be of a particular design. There we can utilize it. Okay. Now, next one is alloys of copper, brasses and bronze. So basically here we will take a look on alloys of copper. Generally they can be of two types, which is brass and bronze. These alloys in which the percentage of copper is found to be higher are known as alloys of copper. Other metals can be present, but their percentage are low. But copper's percentage will be higher here. So, two types are there. Number one, brass. Number 2, bronze. Let's take a look at the first one, which is the brass. So brasses are the alloys of copper and zinc, while bronze are the alloys of copper and tin. This is the basic difference between brass and bronze. They are widely used in manufacturing dinner sets, in different kinds of decorative items, in furnitures, in making handles, decorative handles, everywhere. Okay? Let's take a look at brass. So brass mainly are of two types. Number 1, commercial brass, and number 2, known as German silver. Commercial brass composition contains copper and zinc. So here copper is present in 90% while zinc is present in 10%. They are golden in color, harder and stronger than that of the copper. They are widely used in architecture, metal works, imitation jewelry, hardwares, screws, rivets, etc. They are used to manufacture different kinds of musical instruments also, as you can see it in the image. Now, let's talk about the German silver. So what is the composition of German silver? German silver contains 25 to 50% of copper. It contains 10 to 35% of zinc. It contains 5 to 35% of tin. Now, let's talk about the properties. So they possess very good strength, a high corrosion resistance, different kinds of electrolyte. That's why it's widely used in manufacturing dinner sets. Now, let's talk about their uses, where they are widely used. So, to manufacture decorative items, utensils, tablewares, ornaments, and cutlery, we can use brass. So, in general, I should say, whenever we are talking about any kind of cutlery items or decorative items or manufacturing items, they contain brass. Either German silver, either a commercial brass. Other kinds of brass are also there, which are also known as cartridge brass, because to manufacture cartridge of the manufacturing of the shell, it contains brass. The shell of the pistol is made up of brass. Okay? Although they are harder, but they are not very harder in their nature. This we have to understood properly. And certain musical instruments are typically made up of brass. Certain kitchenwares are nowadays made up of brass. When you take a look at certain kinds of microscope, there some parts contains brass, because brass is an alloy which gives us various applications in various fields. We can use it in numerous ways. Next, we will see in our next session. Thank you so much, everyone.